Okay, what's up, guys? It's me, Mr. Rasmussen, the Woodbender. Today I wanted to show you guys a little slideshow I made about my tennis journey, my rivalry this year. And just so that you know the story of the match that's coming up, it's going to be tomorrow, Saturday, July 19th, I believe is the day. So let's see, my year started out kind of bad. I played in a tournament in January, and I played what I felt like was my best tennis ever. And then in February, another tournament, and I got injured. So I was off from February, March, April, May, and then I was able to play in June. So 4 months I had to take off. It was really tough. It was really painful too. It was my shoulder. And I couldn't do a lot of stuff for a long time. I could hardly even work out. But anyway, so I start playing on June 1st was the first day I came back, the first match I played. This new league, the fall league, came around, and we started on July 1st. I know that doesn't sound like the fall, but it starts July 1st, and it goes from July, August, September, October, till the middle of November, so like 4.5 months there. But one notable thing is between June 1st and July 31st, I lost 20 pounds. And so that was a huge benefit to my game advantage, to just shed the weight like that. I was moving way better, way faster, had a ton more stamina, and I was really playing a lot better by the end of July that year. So here's the rules of the league that I'm in. The league goes like this. We call it a ladder. And so everyone has a rank, and you get points for playing. You get points for beating players ranked higher than you. More points if you beat someone higher than you. You get fewer points for beating players lower than you. And when you lose, you get a few minimal points. You get just as many games as you won when you lose. So if I lose 3-6, 3-6, I get 6 points for the games that I won in the match that I lost. Every other ladder I've played in 3 now, but every other one there's been a rule that you can only play someone within 15 spots of you, 15 higher or lower. So the number 1 can't play the number 17. But in this one they changed it so that the number 1 could play anyone. There was no distance rule. Anyone could play anyone. But the point rules goes like this. You get 39 base points for winning, minus or add the distance points. Then subtract how many games you lost. So for example, if number 1 beats number 11, they're 10 spots apart. If he wins 6-3, 6-3, number 1 gets the 39 points minus the distance points because he's higher than the lower ranked person. And the distance points is 2 points per rank between them. So there's 10 spots between them. So 10 times 2 is 20. So the base 39 minus 20 points, so he's at 19. And then you subtract how many games you lost. So he lost 6 games. And those 6 points go to the other player. So number 1 gets 13 points this game, not a ton. But the minimum points a player can get in the event, in the case of winning, the minimum you can get is 12. If you win, you can't get less than 12, basically. The prize, though, the prize that goes into this, everyone puts $20 in to start the ladder, and there's 45 dudes that are on this ladder. So that's $900 that everyone put in. And all the money goes back to the top 3 finishers, okay? But it's not proportional because first place gets 50%, second 33%, and third with 17%. So first place is fighting for $450. So at the very beginning of the ladder, the first 2 weeks or so, everyone starts at 0 points, and their rank is the lowest. I mean, everyone just starts at the same rank. So there's no distant point penalties or multipliers at first. And even when people started to play matches and go up, even when you played someone lower than you, there was no penalty there for beating someone lower than you. So basically, the number 1 could beat the number 41 player, be 40 spots difference, and normally that'd be an 80-point deduction. which you'd end up with the base 12 points because you can't have negative points for winning. But even if you win 6-0, 6-0, you should normally get only the base 12 points, but in this case, the number one would get 39 points. So about 3 times as much for just beating someone that you're way, way better than. So my rival, his name, we'll call him G for the sake of this video. He took full advantage of this. This was his strategy from day one, was to try to play often, every day almost. And he would only play against the weakest players. And people started to take note of this, but I mean, there's no rule without the 15 rank rule. You could play anyone, and there's no rule against this. The only rule is you can't play a single player more than 5 times. So I can't play the same player 6 times, basically. But G was taking advantage of this because he saw, oh, I can play this player who I know I can beat really bad, and I can get upwards of 35 points, around 39, for beating someone that I normally would only get maybe 12 points for beating. So anyways, he took advantage of this from the start. That was a strategy to just play every day, rack up a ton of points, and from farming off of the lowest ranked players. So this is on July 18th. This is G. He's up here at the top. He's got 339 points, you see. Second place is Michael with 164, and there I am with 153. So there he has more than double, I believe, of what the second place guy has. Definitely more than double than what I have. So almost a 200-point difference between me and him. And so once again, this is July 18th, 18 days in. Okay, and this ends up being about 33% of his total points. 33% of his total points were gained in the first 18 days. So about 2.5 weeks. He made 33% of his points. So like that's the embodiment of him taking full advantage of the no distance penalty and just beating lowest ranked players, and that's what he did. That's what he had to do. So around August 15th, something happened, something tragic. My car got broken into, and there's the window that they bashed, and they only took one thing. Well, multiple things, but they took my tennis bag, and inside my tennis bag was my tennis rackets, my tennis shoes, a bunch of tennis balls, and just all my gear. And so I was really bummed about this because, well, it just sucked. I mean, that it was about $1,000 worth of equipment, and I was just really pissed off about this, and it was a really hard time. And I was trying to decide what I was gonna do, if I was gonna buy new equipment, what new equipment I was gonna buy if I were to do anything, and how much I'd be willing to spend. But anyway, some really clutch people came up, and they're like, "Hey, I'll let you borrow a racket for a little bit." Blah 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 blah. Even some dude was willing to let me borrow his shoes, and just some really great people wanted to help me out. And so this took about like 2 weeks to figure out, to just decide that, okay, I'm gonna actually get new gear. I was ready to pretty much give it up. I was like, this kind of sucks. It's September here in Utah. We can pretty much play outdoors until November. So I was like, I got 2 more months to play. Is it even worth it to buy new stuff right now? I could just wait till next year around March. So anyways, this was just kind of going in my head, and I had to replace the cost of the window. Just replacing the window cost like $300. So anyways, it was just a mess all around. So around September 1st, I made the decision. The decision was I was going to buy new gear, but if I was going to buy this new gear, I was going to try to win. I was going to try to go for that $450 to at least just make me feel a little bit better, and I guess just go for it. If I'm gonna buy all this new gear, might as well just take full advantage of it, play all the time, get used to my new gear too. I bought some new rackets, some stuff I've been seeing and wanted to try out. So I was like, might as well just play as much as I can just to break in my new gear. So around September 1st, so the league's been going on July, August, so 2 months. G is his name, has had to just rack up his score and play pretty much every day. Here's a graphic warning. So I start playing every day in September. Yeah, these are pretty graphic, but tennis is pretty hard on your body. And these pictures are of my feet, the blisters that were incurred upon my feet over playing tennis every day starting on September 1st. So I got some big ones. These ones really aren't too bad, but this one was pretty painful. And I was playing a tournament this day. Then these ones came along, and these ones were really painful. These ones right here, those ones sucked. Anyways, and then that's after a few more days, and a few more days after that. So kind of gross, pretty gross. There'd be days where my feet hurt so bad I wouldn't wear shoes at work. So here at school, I'd be walking around barefoot just because my feet hurt so bad. Anyways, let's keep going. I also wear knee braces when I play, so this is one of the other after effects of playing so much. My legs got really tan, but where I have my knee braces, I get these really weird tan lines. So that was part of the aftermath of just playing more than I've ever played before too. So after a little while, I start catching up, okay? And G, he puts unavailable by his name, and I hear that he's in Italy. And so I think, here's my chance to catch up, because if he's playing every day, it's really hard to make up that 200-point deficit, because I have to play players that are better than me and win, because if I lose, I get less than 12, and he's just increasing that deficit, increasing the distance between us. So anyways, when I hear that he's in Italy for about 3.5 weeks, I think, this is my chance. I can catch up now because he's not going to be playing. So I played really hard and a lot those 3.5 weeks to try to close the gap between us. And the ladder, like I said, it goes until November 12th. And this happened on November 2nd. So with 10 days to go, G, he's been leading the entire time. He's been ahead. He's been playing weak players, doing his thing. He'll play a strong player will reach out every so often to play against him. And he'll play those strong players maybe once, but then he really doesn't play again. And a lot of strong players, he really didn't even play ever. So on November 2nd, we tied up. I tied it up. I tied it up with him. I won a match where I got more than just the base 12 points, and he lost that day, and we just happened to get the same amount of points. And this was after each of us had played about 60 matches. So just crazy. After 120 matches between the two of us, we were exactly tied. And you see, third place is a ways behind, fourth place even behind him. It was really a battle just between me and G for the longest time. Another thing I did I looked up our records, and I counted up what I consider significant wins, which means the wins that you have against other top 10 players. Over the course of this 4.5 months, G had 2 wins against top 10 players. I had 14 wins against top 10 players. So it was really a big difference, and it was kind of starting to make me a little upset that he wouldn't play any of these guys here. He played this guy twice. He played this guy a few times. He never played Michael. He played this guy once and got absolutely destroyed. And he played this guy once. So anyways, then this is when it became personal though. Let me go back one. So it became personal. Probably a few weeks before this, so I was behind by maybe 20 points or so. And I was in second, he's in first. And I reached out to him to ask if he wants to play. And he refused to play me. Because if he's ahead, if I beat him, we'll likely swap. And so he refused to play me. And this kind of pissed me off because I just felt like that wasn't competitive at all. And if you're going to be number one, you should be willing to accept the challenge from anyone. I don't think you should just backslide, cruise your way into first place. If you want to be number one, you should be willing to accept every challenge that comes your way. And if you can't accept the challenge, and if you can't beat those challengers, I don't think you deserve to be number one. So that's when it really became personal for me, and this was about 3 weeks left to go. So this was about 2 weeks before this right here happened. was he refused to play me. And so at that point I thought, I'm really taking it to the house. Unfortunately, though, the very next day I played and I lost. So I lost, and I got 8 points in my loss, and G, he got 12 points in his win, so then I'm down by 4 points on this day. So I lost to Kenny. Kenny's down here at number 7. A little bit about my history with Kenny. I played him in the end of July, and I absolutely got gobsmacked. I lost 1-6, 2-6. Just got beat real bad against him. He's a really solid player. Then I played him again in the middle of September. I've been playing every day for a while. My game was a little better at that time. This time I won a close match, 7-6, which means I won into tiebreak in the first set. Lost the second set 3-6, then won the third set 6-2. So second match was a close, really tough match, but I won that one. And then this time, back now November 4th, I play and I lose 3-6, 5-7. So kind of close, 2 sets, but he won both sets, and he won that match. But then on the 5th, the next day now, so exactly 1 week before it ends, this is on Saturday, 1 week before it ends, then the very next day, I win, and G, he loses. So now I'm up by 4, and there's 1 week to go. And so it's all coming down. It's all coming down to this last week. But finally, after being down the whole time, tying it up with 10 days to go, I'm now up with 7 days to go. And I just need to hold on to that lead, and I'll get the prize. Then on the 8th, a few days later, with 4 days to go, I had an absolute monster win against Kenny. And so I was able to get a decent amount of points in this match, while G, he's still just going for the 12 every day. But I had a monster match. I beat him 6-3, 6-2. Just to recap, first match I got absolutely gobsmacked. Second match won a close 3-set match. Third match I lost a sort of close 2-set match, but then the fourth match I had a definitive 2-set win against him. And so that felt really good. So I was able to widen the margin now. And G, he wasn't able to play that day because it was snowing. Me and Kenny, we were able to play indoors. Kenny down here at number 7. I was able to beat him. And so I took a good-sized lead with just 4 days to go. So at this point, it's pretty much over because G, just getting 12 points every day, if he believes I'm going to play every day, he can't make up that difference in just 4 days. About a, 37-point difference. He can't make that up in just that amount of time. So I realized this, and he knew that, and so he didn't play. He played, I think, one more match after that. So it just closed the deficit just a little bit more. But it was over at this point with 4 days to go, because I had this monster win. But me being the Giga Chad that I am, I still wanted to play this man because I wanted to prove a point, and I wanted to show him and everyone that I deserve to be the top dog. And you see, the thing about it being a Giga Chad is the Chad never, ever gives up the opportunity to prove that he is the alpha Chad. And I was trying to be number 1. I was trying to be the top dog. I wanted to prove that I'm still the alpha, that I'm the alpha dog. I deserve to be there. And it had been a battle with G for 4.5 months. I mean, but really the last 2.5 months were really where all the action came down to. So really, he had pushed me to play more than I'd ever played before. I appreciated the competition. I appreciated the competitive spirit in that sense, but I did not appreciate that he refused to play me. Now, with only 4 days to go, I knew the only way he could make up that deficit, the only chance he had, would be by beating me, okay? And he beat me once, and I beat him twice. So the only chance he'd have of beating me would be to make up that difference would be by beating me, because I'm ahead. You get more points when you beat someone higher than you. So anyways, this is going down, and I reached out to our tournament administrator, or our league administrator, and I reached out to him and said, hey, I want to play G, and I'll play him one match. Winner takes all. Winner takes first place. Winner gets the $450. The loser gets the second place prize, which is like 200 something. But I want to play him because I just told him I want to play him. I want to do it. And I did. And I do want to play him. And I do want to play him, but I want to play because I want to prove a point to him. And it's that if you're gonna be number one and take everyone else's money, you have to accept the challenge to play against the other players. You can't just not play the other players and try to just farm off the bottom players. So I absolutely did not appreciate this. I didn't appreciate how he played against me, or how he kind of, not how he played. He played fine, but he was just talking to him before and after matches. He's a little pompous, and I just did not appreciate every interaction I had with him. There was always something. And I won't really go into the details, but I just felt like he was a little bit rude towards me and my friends. He would be texting some of my friends sometimes after he see that I play them. And so I just knew he was all about winning this ladder, but he wasn't doing it with a competitive spirit, with a true competitive spirit, which I felt was really distasteful and not a good image. And so that's why I reached out to the administrator to say, look, I'll play one match. I'll put it all on the line. I have everything to lose now that I'm ahead. I'm willing to give him the chance that he would not afford me. I'm willing to do it because I'm confident in my game. Even though I've lost once against him, I feel really confident with how I'm playing now. I really do believe that I'm going to win tomorrow. I am going to play absolutely as hard as possible. I have a game plan. I already set out. I made a video about it. But I'm going to play as absolutely hard as possible. It is a little stressful, just being the one that has everything to lose. It's a lot easier to play when you have nothing to lose, and that's what he has. Because worst case scenario for him, he gets the money that he was already going to win anyways. For me, I lose that, and I kind of make a show about myself if I lose, and I really don't want that to happen. So I'm going to play as absolutely hard as possible. He's a tough player to play, but I do believe that I can beat him this third time for a third win against him. Go 3-1 against him. Anyways, wish me luck tomorrow. I will be live streaming it. We'll see what happens, and I think it'll be great. I think it'll be a great match for us. So go ahead and tune in live tomorrow, and we'll see you then.